this way. What's the difference? How do you split the world? I'll tell you. Where Yerushalayim going to be standing? On your part? On my part. Fight. Second fight, the Cain said, you know what, I plant everything. Your ships should not be fed on my plants. Everyone said, oh yeah, that's what you say? So you should take off your clothing, because all the clothing they had is skins of animals. You take off your clothing, walk naked. Then Cain answered, you don't walk on my land. I'm a ish adama, I'm a, person who takes care of agriculture. So you're walking on my land, don't walk on it. You could imagine what Gava makes with the people? It's mine. You have no rights. That's not the problem. And one killed another. That's it. And we continue from generation to generation. Torah points out those people who had a Gava. One of them in our parsha was Nimrod. Nimrod had such a pride. למה נקרא שמו נמרוד? שהיה ממריד את הבריות כנגד קונם. Nimrod, the word Nimrod means rebellious. Not only he was rebellious against Hashem, he made people rebellious against Hashem. There's no God, he said. He was the one who was building the big tower of Babel. He once said, wanted to go to fight with Hashem. You could imagine, how could you go to fight with your Creator? The only way is if you have Ga'ava. Because Ga'ava, once it's inside of you, you think you are Creator. You're not creation anymore. And that's what Og thought, that the Nimrod thought for himself. And he said to Avram to bow down to him. Why? Because all the animals used to bow down to Nimrod. Nimrod has special powers because of the jacket of Adam HaRishon. He had a special nice jacket of Adam HaRishon with the holy names of Hashem was written on it. And any animal who would see that jacket, they would genetically remember that Adam HaRishon used to have that, and fear would come upon them, and they would bow down. And everyone like this. But one person didn't, who was Abraham. He could not stand it. He could not stand it, Nimrod. Abraham doesn't bow down. So he said, I'm the king. I command to throw you in a fire. I command to throw you in a fire. And he threw it. And Abraham Avinu came out without even a burned hair from the fire. Miraculously. Next, Rabotai, who was a Ga'ava type person with a big pride in Torah? You want to see that? Esav. Esav ish sadeh. He doesn't like ish ohalim. He doesn't like a place which is small, like a Bet Midrash, to see. He wants the sadeh. Sadeh has no boundaries. You do whatever you want. Why you do whatever you want? Because you think there is no control on you. Why people, they do whatever they want to do? They eat whatever they want to eat. They do things that prohibited according to law. Why? Because they think they have no control upon them. They forgot about Hashem. You remember last shiur I said what Gava makes with people? Veram levavcha v'shachachta et Hashem elokecha. Gava makes person to forget God. That's what Torah says. You had a pride in your heart, and you will forget Hashem. You will forget about Him. You will forget that He's a controller. Or He's the ruler of the world. He's the one who takes care of everyone and everything. He makes this world to exist. And everybody in Rabotai do whatever they want. They think nobody sees them. Why? Because of pride. It's the same thing Adam HaRishon. I ate, I will eat more. Another person with a Ga'ava. Torah writes about those people, Rabotai, directly and exactly in details. Pharaoh. Paro was such a wicked person, Rabotai. When Moshe Rabbeinu, a messenger of Hashem, comes to Paro, he said, let my people go. Shalach ami v'yavduni b'midbar. Ima'en ata l'shalech ineni horeg et bincha bechorecha. Send my people go. If you're not sending my son away from you, I'll destroy your country. I'll kill your firstborn son. What was the reply of Paro? You know what was his reply? Mi Hashem asher ishma b'kolo. Who is this God I should listen to him? You could imagine? He thought he's greater than God. That God is below him, chas v'shalom, and he says, who is he I should listen to him? How could you talk such a way? And you would come and say, Paro didn't believe in God. Oh, trust me. He knew who is God, Rabotai. How did he know who is God? From Avraham Avinu. In our parsha, what it says, Avraham Avinu went to Egypt because of hunger in Canaan. Sarai Imenu was taken by Paro because she was the most beautiful woman of the world. They brought her to Paro. Hashem sends one malach, angel, with Sarah. Now, angel only seen to the righteous people. The wicked people don't see angels. They have no merit to see angels. So you could imagine Paro tries to come to touch Sarai Imenu and suddenly get electrified. Shock! Electric shock he gets. And then he tries to come, boom, he falls. And he gets, and he said, that's, I cannot touch her. At night, he gets sickness. Whole his house gets sickness. They cannot go to bathroom. You could imagine what it is. The stomach hurts them. And he doesn't know what to do. He's probably, I made something wrong. Hashem punished Paro. Paro said, yes, I understood my mistake, Hashem. It is his wife. I'm going to give him money. I'm going to give him bodyguards. V'yishalchu et Abraham, it says. He gave them bodyguards. He gave him silver, gold, gimalim, camels. He gave them even his own daughter to be a maiden slave for Sarah. Hagar was daughter of Paro. He said to his daughter, it's better for you to be a maid in their house than to be a princess in my house. He saw the miracles that happened. And as he gave the wife away with the money, what happened? Everything is fine. He's healthy. So he knew he's God. The problem is he didn't know that God could reveal himself in different ways in this world. The only name of God he knew, it was Elokim. Which name Moshe Rabbeinu came to Paro? Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, Hashem. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei name. So he says, Mi Hashem, who is this Yud-Kei Vav-Kei that I don't know about? That I should listen to? If Moshe Rabbeinu would come and say, Elokim sent me, he would listen. He was afraid. Paro remembered Elokim, what Elokim could do. Because Elokim is a name of judgment. Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, it's a name of mercy. He said, there is a merciful God? I don't know such a God. Who's such a God I should listen to him? Paro said no. Gahava in him didn't let him. So Moshe said, you know what? I'll show you a miracle. Moshe Rabbeinu shows him how from his stick the snake comes out. Paro said, that's a miracle. Moshe, you coming to the house of straw and you bringing straws here? That's what he told him. What he meant? You coming to the origin of the kshafim, of the witchcrafty and black magic. The Mitzrayim was the origin of witchcrafty and black magic, Rabotai. It says 10 portions of black magic came to the world. Hashem sent 10 portions of black magic. 9 of them was taken by who? 9 of them was taken by Paro, by Mitzrayim, and 1 to the whole world. They were masters of black magic. And he said to Moshe, you want to show me a cheap trick? that you show me that from your stick it becomes snake? And Paro also, it says, Vayikra lechachamav. He called his wife, he said, listen, I'm not going to show you what I could do with the black magic. My wife and my children going to show you what they could do. They also took sticks and threw it in front of Moshe. They also became snakes. And what it says afterwards, that's what Paro was shocked with. It says, Vayochal matei Aaron et matotam. It says that the stick of Aaron swallowed those sticks. Not the snake, like they show in some shows. Not the snake ate the snakes, because that's the way, snake eats the snake. The mate, it says the stick, as it touched another stick, it swallowed it inside and it disappeared in it. Paro said, oh, something serious here. But still, I'm not letting go Am Yisrael. So Moshe said, if you're not letting go, there's a first punishment. What Hashem punishes people who has a pride? You know on what? On what they rely on. Paro relied on the Ye'or a lot. He said, Li Ye'ori va'ani hasitini. I created myself because he thought he's a god. You know how? Look at this. The Paro, it's a classic example for the Ga'ava. Because he made himself to be as a god for people, now he has to prove that he's a god, that he's a supernatural person, right? Any person goes to bathroom, and our Chazal say a secret about the Paro. He made himself not to go to bathroom ever, only in the morning when nobody sees it, on the cover up. How? Hashem says to Moshe, wake up early in the morning, go to Ye'or and you will see there Paro. Moshe says, early in the morning? Paro in a Ye'or? Yes. Moshe Rabbeinu does whatever Hashem says to him. He wakes up in the morning early. He goes to the Ye'or. What do you think? Paro was going in the morning to the Ye'or to bless the waters. You know how he used to bless the waters? He used to make a concentration of the water with the urine. He blessed the waters. And nobody sees him underwater, right? And used to stand up and say, blessing the waters, blessing the waters. And Paro got a bracha from Yaakov Avinu. That Yaakov said, anytime you go to waters of Nile, the waters of Nile will rise for you. And once they risen, they will give the water to all the sadot, all the fields where people need water. And people forgot about this bracha. Who knew? Only Paro. So Paro said, I'm a god. Look at this. I just walk to the water, water goes up. You saw? Supernatural powers. And it's good for him. He goes to bathroom, by the way. But what happened at that moment? Medrash says, unbelievable thing. When Moshe Rabbeinu came, water split. And Paro standing. And it was so embarrassing for the Paro. Hashem says, go break his gaiva. You know how you break his pride? You embarrass him. And Paro goes like, wait, I forgot my pamperses. You know, what should I do? Okay, now Moshe says, let people go. If you're not going to let the people go, Hashem is going to break your pride. How? What's the first thing that you rely on? It's a water. Egypt has no rain so much. They rely on their river, which called Nile, Ye'or. Hashem will disease this water with blood. And all the dagim, all the fish will die. Paro says, I don't care. Oh, you don't care. So he said to Aaron, strike the water. He strikes the water, water becomes blood. Everything in Egypt, it becomes blood. The only who says water, Rabotai? Bnei Israel. And Gemara says, they became rich from the water in Egypt. We became rich. So business of water with the gas is from that place. Okay? Carbonated water. They sell it from that time. Egyptian, till they used to pay big price for bottle of water, the water used to become blood. Even they made a test, the one Jewish person from one straw, another Egyptians from another straw, they drink from one cup, this drinks blood and this drinks water. Why? To show you that I'm a God who's the ruler of the world. I'll do you drink blood and you drink water from the same cup. You should know my power. You don't know about this yet? Second punishment. Third punishment. All the punishments till last punishment, and he died. The Pharaoh's firstborn died. Every firstborn in Egypt died. From animals to people, everybody, besides one. One firstborn in Egypt didn't die. Who? Pharaoh himself. Pharaoh was firstborn. Why Hashem left him alive? You know why? כי בעבור זאת העמדתיך, Hashem says. להראותך את ימין חזקי. Hashem says, I left you alive that you should see my right hand, the power of my right hand. It's talking about in allegory, but to show you my power, Hashem says. And what Pharaoh says? Moshe, get out of here. Moshe says, no, now it's midnight. We're not going to be like thieves. You know, thieves, they run away. Midnight. We're going to go in the morning, like very intellectual people, you know, nice people. You're going to walk us out. You're going to give us money for that. That's what Medrash says. Pharaoh used to stand on the border of Egypt, give everybody money. Get out of here. Get out of here. Faster. Faster. AVA. Why Torah wrote such details about Pharaoh? I think we didn't find such details about Yitzchak Avinu and Avraham Avinu, like about the Pharaoh. Why? Don't you find it strange? Tell me. Why Torah should write about wicked people more than about righteous? It's very simple. Pharaoh, besides that he was one of the historical images of that time, there is a syndrome that's called Pharaoh syndrome. That's a syndrome of Ga'ava. Each of us, Rabotai, is familiar with this syndrome, but not so much till you touch it. It's a Pharaoh syndrome. This syndrome always screams one thing. Who is God? I should listen to him. Do you understand that? That's why you see so much people who don't want to keep Shabbat. Because what Pharaoh screams, who is God I should listen to him to keep Shabbat? Who is God I should listen to him to eat kosher? Who is God I should listen to him to that my wife should go to mikveh? Or women say, who is God I should listen to him that I should go tzanua, very modest? Who is God? Yeah, nothing. Chas v'shalom. That's what Pharaoh screams at you. And Arizal saw that. Ari HaKadosh Rabotai, who lived 450 years ago, he said it's true. A spiritual structure of person, where the Pharaoh power sits, he said, Pharaoh otiyot oref. Oref means back of the neck. Pharaoh sits over here, achorei hadat. In the spiritual structure of the person, there is a thing that's called da'at. Da'at, it means acknowledgement. Sense, it's called da'at. You know what doesn't make sense? That's what sense, it's called da'at. There's a chokhmah, wisdom, bina, understanding, and acknowledgement, sense. That's called da'at. Or da'at, in charge of actions. Whatever makes sense, you do it. Whatever doesn't make sense, you stop. What the Yetzer Hara does? He mixes up your acknowledgement, and you're so confused. He confuses you. And because you're confused, you cannot fight him. That's what Arizal says. You're confused. That's why Chazal said, you cannot go against him alone, against the evil inclination. You have to have a rabbi. You have to have a person who will tell you a little bit more what you know. And gavtan, person who has a gava, he doesn't like someone telling him what to do. So Mimela, he doesn't have a rabbi. Rabbi, you going to tell me what to do? What do you know? What do you understand? He thinks he knows more than me. Who said maybe? Maybe yes, maybe no. The second side of the coin. But the Gaftan doesn't see second side of the coin. He sees only himself. That's a big problem with the pride. After we said so many examples about the Gava, I wanted to show you where it comes from. In order to know how to treat this sickness, right? We have to know what is the symptoms of the sickness. We talked about the symptoms here. We have to talk about the roots of the sickness, where it came from. Do you know where? Tell me. Okay, I'll ask you a question. Where Ga'ava come from? It's a characteristic of the person. It's a character of the person. It's a quality of the person. Pride. Where it comes from? No? What do you think? Do you know any answers? Why? Why don't you have any answers? Because you never thought about this. Right? That's what Yetzer Hara makes people not to think about. You have a sickness, good, have it. Live with this. After 120 person comes over there and said, I did everything, whole Torah I did. But Hashem says, you were disgusting to me. Why? Why? Because he had a big pride. And I'll show you which sins did you do with this pride. It's very... So in order not to have such a thing there with Hashem, so let's try to fix. Well, Hashem, we're still alive. We could do mitzvot and we could fix. So let's see where it comes from. What do you think? Do you know? Yeah.
Lack of knowledge.
Good. Everything comes from lack of knowledge. It is true. It is true. But what's a shorish? The root, spiritual root. For that, I brought today a book that's called Sha'arei Kiddusha. This book was written by big Rabbi of generation of Harizal, student of Harizal, Rabbeinu Chaim Vital. Rabbeinu Chaim Vital, he writes in this book, Sha'arei Kiddusha, the shortcut how to get the Ruach HaKodesh. Because that's our whole essence, how to get the Ruach HaKodesh. Because Ruach HaKodesh is something that you have a connection with Hashem, and that's what you need to get. And so there's a shortcut how to get it. And in this short book he writes it. But this shortcut, I'm still in the beginning of this shortcut, of the first pages. Because every word that he says has so much wisdom and knowledge. So shortly he says this way Ga'ava comes to people. Listen carefully. He says, if somebody wants to see it, I'll give you Makor. It's Chelek Aleph Sha'ar Bet. It's the first part of the book, Gate 2. In Gate 2, he says that as we know, when Adam HaRishon made the sin, not only him went down in spirituality, he brought down everything, whole creation down from spirituality, from holiness to impurity. How world was created? He says our world, physical world, has a rule. It's created by 4 basics. Physical world created by 4 basics. What are those 4 basics? It's a power of fire, wind, the air, and 2 heavy ones, earth and water. Now, when I say earth, it's not our earth. When I say water, it's not our water. Water within itself, our water within itself, has all 4 parts. Anything created in this world has those 4 powers. Do you understand that? If one of the powers would be missed, this object will stop exist in our world, because our world has rule of it. It has to have 4 things in it. In the fire, where do you see the water there? the water in such a small concentration in the fire that you don't see it at all, but it's there. How? I don't know. That's how world created. Now, the fire is dominant. That's why you don't see any others. Now listen carefully what it says. As the physical world was created by four basics, fire, air, earth, and water, the spiritual world that makes the physical world alive with energy also was created by four letters of God's name. Yud, K, Vav, K. You understand? Is it clear? The four over here and four over there. Good. Now they got connected. Adam Rishon made a sin. He brought down every spiritual aspect and every physical aspect down. From the up level to down. To minus. What happened? Those four basics of the world, they got mixed with impurity. They were only for good. But since they mixed with impurity, and Adam Rishon also was mixed with impurity, now those four basics, they have outcome. They have their own nature. So it starts to explain the nature of each basic. And what nature of that basic makes, how could you see it out in our world with our eyes? It's unbelievable. Listen what he says. So four basics, fire, two light ones and two heavy ones. Fire in the air is the light ones, and the two heavy ones, earth and the water. So he says as follows. Those four basics, Adam was created also. From those four basics, Adam was created also. In Adam, those four basics, they make his behavior and thoughts, his qualities, his character. His character built according to those four basics. Which basic is dominant in him, that's how he's going to behave. And now you're going to see unbelievable things you have never thought of. Look at this, what he says. First basic, we'll start with the fire. So he says you should know, because Adam made a sin, fire mixed with impurity. What impure power the fire in a person brings? ממנו נמשכת הגאווה הנקראת גסות הרוח. From the fire you would have a big bad quality that called ga'ava, a pride. Why? He says right away why. Because ga'ava, it's something that goes up only, right? The person who has a pride is always up. He thinks everybody's down and he's only up. And that's what the fire, nature of the fire, to go always up. And second, ga'ava, he doesn't see anyone. He embarrasses everyone. He doesn't care about anyone who has a pride, right? The fire doesn't care for anything. It just goes and burns. He doesn't care. He doesn't stop. Opposite. If there's a reason to burn more, he's going to burn even more and get greater. And one of the things that come out of ga'ava, you're going to be shocked now. You know what it is? Ka'as and anger. Who is here from audience who doesn't get angry? Pick up your hands. Oops. Even I afraid to pick up my hand, because sometimes it happens. You become angry. So Arizal will tell you why. Rabbeinu Chaim Vital. Why you become angry? You have ga'ava. Because you have ga'ava, you become angry. And why you have ga'ava? Because the fire, the energy of the fire, spiritual energy of the fire, too high. Probably you have heard Bukharian proverb, they say, Olovot Pasman. You know that? You have heard of this? Oh no. Why they say so? Say, put down your fire. I think that connects very well with this, what it says. When a person behaves like a fire, say, put down your fire. Meaning there's a fire in you. How you'd bring down the fire? With what? Who knows? No? Oh, come on, people, you never put down the fire? Water. The water, it's Torah from one side. It says, Divrei Torah nimshilu lamayim. The Torah, it's like a water. When a person learns Torah, he becomes calmer. He's not a fire anymore. Maybe he is still, but it's not as great as before. It's a one. And second, the water is in charge of ta'ava. Is in charge of a desire. Man, what he has desire in? Women. So wife, with nice smile, could make his husband, put the fire off. I'll teach you how to do this later. But anyway, let's go continue with the fire. So fire has a problem. Fire brings to person ga'ava, and fire brings the person kas and anger. If you see angry person, you should know he has a ga'ava. He has a ga'ava. Because a person who has no ga'ava, he very rarely becomes angry. Very rarely. Why? Because he thinks he doesn't deserve anything. He puts himself down. Who am I? I'm nothing. So nothing needs nothing. Do you understand? So because nothing needs nothing, so even somebody didn't do something, okay, fine. No gava. Now, in certain places, gava is very good. And he brings in book Orchot Tzedikim that when you stand against Rashaim, when you stand against wicked people, to prove there's God, to prove them there's a way of Hashem to live right way, there you should have ga'ava. There you should have a pride to stand for Kavod Hashem, to stand for the honor of God. Do you understand? Over there, you should have ga'ava. But besides that, nothing else. Since we touched the point of the fire, maybe next lessons we will learn another three. That's a very interesting thing. I wanted you to see what says the Rambam about this issue. And Rambam, in his book, in his first part of Yad HaChazaka, Sefer HaMadda, in Ilchot Deot, he brings following. A lot of types of character people have. And every person is different from other. Someone is very angry, and someone, it's not so much. He just becomes angry maybe once in a couple of years. It's two different types of people. Do you hear what I'm saying? Question number one on Rambam. Why Rambam would bring the anger as the first example? Why? Do you know why? Tell me why. Because it's most found. What could you talk about? It's because it's most found. How much you become angry when you rush somewhere and somebody cannot park in his parking spot and he's blocking whole road. You start to curse him, his mother, whoever created his car, Toyota company or whatever it is. You start to curse whoever made this road, whoever built buildings so tight. Why? Why? Do you know why? Because the root is in Gava. You would say, listen, Hashem wants me to stay on that spot a couple of more minutes. Okay, I'm rushing, but you see, and some people even go over that. They come out of the car, they leave the car, they go to that person and they start to talk with him. And they stop traffic even bigger. You have seen such a things? He stops the car from the end of the block, he walks to that guy, says, let me park your car, he goes to me. You let me, I'll park your car, let people go. Unbelievable. So Rambam says, different people are different. Some people, they have a cars a lot. Some people, יש אדם שהוא גבב לב ביותר, right away, down the cars he brings גבב לב. There's some people, they have big pride about that. They think they are big shots. Some people even think they're creators. Right? And some people, they're very down to earth. Shfal ruach, down to earth. If even somebody is going to say him something offensive, he's not going to answer to him. Even some people will forgive him, he was angry, I understand him. In time of anger, people say something that they don't think about, right? And he will forgive him from all heart. Because he's down to earth, he's enough. We think he reached this level yet. And Rambam says, but some people, they have a big desires. They don't have ga'ava, but they have their big desires. By the way, Orchot Tzadikim says ga'ava brings desires. Do you know how desires to people come? Because he has a desire to become rich. He has a desire. His friends, they're going on Mercedes, and he's going on a Ford Taurus. Why? Well, I would not talk about the color. Okay? Why? Now he has a desire. Now he will going to work for that desire to make such a car, right? And what will happen? Let's say he will not make so much money. He will go transgress big sins for that as a stealing. He will sell 10 karat for 18 karat. You know such a people, no? Some people, they take a 10 karat gold, they dye it, color it with 18 karat 3 times, that you could not even know what kind of gold is that, and they sell it as 18 karat. So tell me, why they do such things? Whom you stealing from? Who gave it permission to do such a thing? It's called a business, he tells me. I call it stealing. He calls it business. But you don't understand what business is. That's the way he permits himself to do such a thing. And you could imagine this money, he feeds his children, stolen money. And then he asks a question when the children grow up, and they go off the derech, they go off the righteous path, they start to become assimilated with the goyim, they got married to goyim. He asked, why, Rabbi, what happened? You fed them with dirty money. And that affected the neshama. Rambam continues and says, some people, they want a lot of things. He wants that. He wants that. He eats, you know where he eats? Fifth Avenue, the most expensive restaurant he eats. Why? What happened to regular food? You have to eat there so much? I'll give you advice. Eat normal food, normal. Nobody says to you to be starving. Eat normal food. But the excess of the money that you spend in that very expensive restaurant, give to tzedakah. It's going to be double mitzvah. You eat healthy, one, and you give tzedakah to aniyim. You give to poor people, needy people. No, he has to eat in a restaurant where the steak costs $1,000. You know there's such a restaurant? I didn't know about that. Somebody came and told me there's certain meat they sell in China. It's piece of meat, steak for $1,000, and people eat it. They call themselves elite. Tell me, what's the difference between this steak and that steak? Nah, it's special. You know what makes it special? Because they sell it in a restaurant where only millionaires eat there. A bottle of wine costs $100,000. And they buy it. Why? You know why? People should see what I drink. Do you know what I drink? A bottle of wine for $100,000. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's no end to that. Okay, you have money, but you could use for something better. No. People should see my pride. There's no prohibition to drive Mercedes. Rabotai, write me, understand me good. You could ride Mercedes. But you should know one thing. Once it becomes scratched, it's still the same car. It becomes as all other cars. The value goes down and you become angry more even. Right? So imagine scratching the Ford and scratching the Mercedes. Difference. Is there a difference? For sure. Over here, you have to paint this car now for $2,000, and this maybe for $400. The difference in price. Okay. Now, everybody of us familiar with mitzvah of tshuva. From which sins person should make tshuva? Who will tell me? Stealing. Has to make tshuva for that? Yes, he has to return what he stole, and he has to ask forgiveness from Hashem. Besides that, forgiveness from the person that he stole from, and besides that, forgiveness from Hashem. Right. Adultery. You have to make tshuva for? For sure you have to make tshuva for. Murder. You have to make tshuva. Lashon hara. Oh, forget it, Rabbi. What are you talking about? For sure you have to make tshuva about this. You have to ask forgiveness from the person that you talk lashon hara about. It's the hardest one. Once to one of the big rabbis, one person came and he said, I think it was Chafetz Chaim, he said, Rabbi, I spoke lashon hara about you. I ask you tshuva, I ask you michila, forgive me. He said, okay, I'll forgive you on one condition. Bring me pillow. I said, what? Bring me pillow, please. So he brought him pillow. He opened the pillow. You know what the pillow has inside? A lot of feathers, small feathers. He took the pillow from second floor and cleaned it out. And all the feathers spread out around the block, all around, with the wind. So he told him, you know what? I forgive you when you gather each feather back to this pillow. So Rama, what did you do? It just was there. Why did you spread it? He said, that's the way. When you spoke about me, that's how it spread. You talk bad about me, that's how it spread fast. As you see those feathers running all around, and you're not going to be able to get all of them back. It's for sure. One going to be missing, for sure. So that's what Lashon Hara is, he told him. And now, because you understood your mistake, I forgive you. He just wanted to show him an example what's Lashon Hara, Rabotai. And people don't care about this. You heard? He said like that, she said like that. Oh, I know her, I know him. Oh, yeah, you don't know them. You know? You're laughing, Rabotai? Once I said to my students, if the telephone lines, if Hashem would punish Lashon Hara with a fire, we would burn the world in 2 seconds. Because the telephone lines, they're all over. And you talk Lashon Hara on the telephone, by telephone lines, fire. It's going to destroy the whole world at 2 seconds. And people, they don't even imagine what the damage they bring to themselves first by speaking Lashon Hara. So, murder, you have to make tshuva. Tell me, Rambam says, people think they have to make tshuva only from the sins. Whoever wants to look after Rambam, it's a Ilchot Tshuva Perek Zayin Halacha Gimel. Don't say, quoting the Rambam, don't say that the tshuva only from the sins that you did some action in those sins. For example, adultery, stealing, murdering. People think if you did such a sin, that's what you have to do. No, you're wrong. As a person has to do tshuva from those sins that we mentioned, the same way he has to go and research his soul for all the bad qualities that he has. And he has to make tshuva, and he brings as samples for which bad qualities you should look first. You want to hear? You're going to be shocked. He says, go and look for your kas. If you have an anger, other words, ga'ava. The first thing Rambam mentioned, second time already. Go and search for your kas, for your ga'ava, for your anger, for your pride. That's what you have to make tshuva from. Second, AVA. AVA, Rabotai, how do you translate it? It's something that makes you enemy with other person. Huh? Hatred, maybe. No, it's hatred. It's AVA. Hatred. You could say so. AVA. Oyev. Hatred. Kin'ah. Kin'ah. It's a midah gru'a, rabotai. It's a jealousy. Umina hitul. Lightheadedness. Radifat mamon. Running after money. People, they lost their heads. They're running after money. They forget about mitzvot. They forget about Shabbat. They forget about everything just to make money. Redifat kavod. Kavod, it's an honor. What people they will do, they will spend every penny in their pocket that everybody should say, wow, such a beautiful wedding. Tell me today, Rabotai, you know our community, how they make weddings. Beautiful weddings. It used to be a table full of food. Very nice. Then it changed to second table smaller on top of it. It's a second floor already of food. Now they created such a holders where you have 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes like this. Pyramid. And anything you want, already tables, they blasting from the food. And imagine what? Close to 90% of that food goes to garbage. And people pay for that. How much the chair cost? Today, a couple cost at least $300. At least. Right? A couple, $300. $150 a person. It's at least. There are more expensive things. Tell me, if you invite 300 people as an average wedding, how much money you pay on that wedding? No? Count. 100 people, $300. Right? How much is it going to be? 100, it's 15, 15, 15. So it's going to be $45,000. That's not included flowers. That's not included the music and video. Plus. How much it becomes? Everybody is smiling there. You know what you paid. You're still working for that, I know. Yeah? How much? At least. No, ring. This is for your wife. That's personal. And it stays. Tzaddik. It stays with you all life. The problem is, this goes to garbage. And why? You know what's the reason? What people will say. It's not the problem. It's a problem in our mind. What do I care what people say? Let them talk. You know what? They will talk less than 24 hours. You know why? Because next day another wedding. Next day another wedding. That's it. You save. You save. What? Not to make food at all? No. Make food, but not $150 when 90% goes to garbage.
The restaurant won't make it cheaper.
Go to another restaurant. We have a lot of Ashkenazi restaurants. Oh, what people going to say? Right away. Rabotai, wedding is just 4 hours. And for 4 hours, you're ready to give for your kavod, for your honor. $60,000 for 4 hours? I never saw such a thing, Rabotai. People has to be crazy to give such a money.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, Rabbi, it's a once in a lifetime. You're right. I work in a bedin. I know what's a once in a lifetime. Then later, in 6 months, they come to divorce for shalom bayit. Once in a lifetime. They didn't receive the video from the guy who makes the video yet. And you know, they became smart today. They told me they take all money before. Why? Because they see so much, statistically, people get divorced and they don't pay them. Do you understand what's going on? They made a wedding. Till they make a video, it takes six to 8 months. So already they got divorced and they don't pay money now. I'm not obligated to pay. Carla says, I'm not obligated to pay. I'm divorced. The Khatan says, I'm divorced. I don't have to. She's going to pay. Her family. And they say, no, we're not working on your wedding till you pay to the last penny. We're bringing workers, you pay. They got smarter. Those times they used to believe for credit. Now they don't give you credit. So tell me, Rabotai, does it worth it? That's a redifat kavod. People are going to say, some people even exaggerate. They exaggerated. You know, once my uncle was there. I was not on such a wedding, but Baruch Hashem I was not. But He said, suddenly I feel the smell of horses at the wedding. So, what's such a smell? What he sees, Chatan and Kala, they go on a horse, white horse. It's crazy. How much you paid for that? 5 minutes ride, back and forth, $2,000. What do you need it for? And other ones, they make even better. What they make a big guys from the Jacqueline, come, and they put like 8 people, and they bring Chatan Vakala like this, and they like this with the oil, machine oil they put on them, and they become like, that's crazy. Well, how much you pay for those 8 guys for that such a ride? Just for the pictures. Rabbi, that's beautiful. That looks, what do you need it for? This money, Hashem going to ask you, you sweat for that money? Yes. What did you give it for? Why you didn't give to this Talmid Chacham who was in need? He once came to you. He asked you to give, please give me food so I could stay and learn Torah. You didn't give him. And you gave for us like 4 guys who from Jacqueline like this for 5 minutes? That's what they service for you? That's how you are? Honor. People for honor, they pay last penny of the pocket. Just not to hear something wrong from people. Oh, as long as the people are happy. But you lose. I would say another solution for that. And I said to my students many times, and I would like everybody to accept it. You make a wedding with the food, with the su'udah. You have to make su'udah. That's what Gemara says. You have to make su'udah. Because it's big zchut. You're getting married, you're getting mitzvah of priyah or viyah. You have to make a su'udat mitzvah. It's su'udat mitzvah. A lot of food. You should bring a lot of food. But not a lot of food that you should throw 90% of it to the garbage. You shouldn't bring the food that everything should be eaten. And if something left, okay, fine. Something clean left, you give it to yeshiva. That's how our brothers Ashkenazi make. Once I came to Ashkenazi wedding, so I didn't see any flowers on the men's side. So I said, smart people. Why? For each bouquet of flowers, how much today? I don't know. $500? Are you joking? $250. Okay. Yeah. I thought I was going to get a heart attack. $250. So imagine, Rabotai, they have 10 tables. Just 10 tables. 50 people here. 50.
It's like 80 and up.
So 80 and up. So take 8. Fine. How many tables you have in a wedding? At least 20 tables, right? You have 20 tables or 30 tables? 30 tables. You have 30 tables in a wedding. 30 times 80, how much is that? 2,400. Good math. Rabotai, 2,400, it's not ended. Now you have a chuppah. We have to make something special. That's another 1,500. And then you have a special bouquet for the kala, which you cannot pick up even. It's very heavy. Right? Right? So kalot, you should some, exercise. And Be'ezrat Hashem, you're going to pick up your bouquet like this, and you're going to smile. Come on, faster, take a picture. Rabotai, how much is that bouquet itself? I saw once, 10 flowers. You could buy it from the store, just they tie it up with a scotch tape on the bottom. And you know how much they charge you? $250 at least. Bouquet for kala. Right? And then you have to have, everybody has to have this thing. How do you call that? Without the bouquet, you're not chatan. You're not chatan. And you're not shayach to our family. Because they put it only for the family. You're not considered as our family. You could imagine, without the rose make you a family. It's included. Fine. Thank you. How much? We end up, how much? $4,000 for flowers only. These flowers, where they go? 3 days later to garbage. So effect of 3 days, we're ready to pay $4,000. Oh, chuppah also. Said. No, chuppah goes, it travels from one chuppah to another chuppah. Yeah, so it's worth it, right? It's worth it. I think it doesn't. You know what? So I asked my friend Ashkenazi, he said, listen, why don't you have flowers? He said, only ladies have. I said to myself, wait a second, really, why men should have flowers? After wedding, I glanced to the ladies section, nobody was there already, and I saw cleaners clean the flowers and bringing to the, Bala Ulam, the person who in charge of the hall, and they, by count, 1, 2, 3. I said, why? You count the flowers after wedding? He said, no, those not real flowers. He goes to me, this is plastic flowers, they look like real, and we just give them as a gmach. It's from gmach, gimilut chasadim, and they don't spend money for a flower. They give to kala, small flower bouquet, fine, that's fine. What our kalot going to say? Cheap. Cheap. You're going to save your future husband $5,000. Cheap? No, don't talk about this. Listen. Don't express out what you think. Keep it for home. No at home. They tell me no. No at home. Okay, now opposite. We're going back to husbands now. Okay, listen carefully now. Rabotai, I'll tell you the truth. We could save on weddings. My advice for you. If you go to Ashkenazi good halls, you make your menu. Nice, not empty table. You make your menu. You want flowers? Fine. Don't get crazy too much with the flowers, okay? It's better to use those plastic ones because they really look beautiful and nice. From far, I could not tell till I came and touched it. It's a plastic flowers. They're beautiful. And the hall provides it. You saved already so much money. Video. I saw how they deal with video. What do we have to have? We have to have 3D, 4D, and 6D. Right? How it goes? It goes like this. From the older, and even once I saw a big crane. You know the crane? It's the flying one. Like this, and like this, and like this. I said, how much you pay to this guy? He says, it's package deal. How much you pay altogether? $8,000. I said, what? One DVD, $8,000? No, they give us pictures also. Tell them not to give you pictures. Tell them to give you a file. File, CD. Don't give me pictures. I'll print them myself. Today could print, you know how cheap you could print? People, you spend your money for nothing. I hope they don't run after me then later, after this drasha.
$1,500 already. Yes, there is a place.
What?
For $1,500.
Here you go. $1,500, you get full set. Rabotai, now, we need 3 videos. We need the video, special video, standing camera, how Khatan breaks the cup. And then we have to have special video that stands on the top of Khatan and Kala, how he puts a ring, so it could be collected from all the sides. Oh, Hollywood! It's so nice, Rabbi, but 30% of couples even don't see that video later. They divorce. And another 30, they don't have time to see because they're busy with kids. And another 30, they don't want to see that at all. So this is disgusting because they understand their mistake. They say, we would have this money, we would put in property, we would buy a house for ourselves. Right? That's what it is. No, but we have to do a special, how do you call the suit? Tuxedo. A regular suit like this, Rabbi, $150 suit for a wedding? What are you talking about? Are you out of your mind? He goes to me, imagine I bought a $150 suit, very beautiful. A perfect, 100% wool, lana, whatever you want to call it. Everything. No, we have to rent tuxedo. How much is the rent? You know the prices. No? You don't know the prices? $300 4 hours. And you have to clean it then later, right?
Yeah.
Plus $10. No, 10, then more dollars. Why? A dress for the kala. Chatan wants to show how he's a large, he's a large chatan. He says, choose for yourself. She goes like this, nothing. This, stuyot, this cheap. This, made in China, not good. This Italian designer, oh. What's the price?
5,000.
Chatan goes with the number 00000. He goes, "Chonish soch." He says, "What?" She said, "What?" Okay, fine. What is going to say? No. And he buys this wedding for how many hours? Rabotai, she dressed in this wedding dress? Whole day? Okay. Hey, it's worth it. $5,000 for one day. Yeah. Rabotai, I'm not saying not to do but you could take this to for rent. You have to have it in your drawer. You have to have it for entire life.
No, for rent is not worth it anymore because it's the same price.
Oh, it's the same price. So I'll tell you a better thing. Go to Gumach in Brooklyn. They have such a beautiful dresses. Not that I'm looking so much to Kalot, but I'm just telling to you. Because they told me Rabbi, we have such a beautiful dresses.
Even more beautiful.
All of them new. Listen carefully now what I'm going to tell you. This Gumach, it's not somebody, old style dress from her grandfather and grandmother left, as an inheritance, and they bring it to Gumach. No. What they did, they collected the money from the community. And they bought for Kalot beautiful dresses. All the sizes, like each size has 5-6 types. Each size 10 types even. You come, you choose. 4 hours you use, it's maybe $300, $400, but you have to clean it and you bring it back. That's all. You saved so much for yourself. No, right? Chatan has to show off. And Kala also, she has to say to her friends, that dress, Italian designer, he bought it for me. Approved your eyes. Huh? Oy vavoy, oy vavoy. Now, somebody asked me to talk about the ring. This I'm not going to talk about because it's too personal. And remember, whoever loves his wife is ready to buy her a biggest diamond in the world. That's what I think husbands think here. But once I heard a story about the lady who spoke to her daughter. I was by. They thought that I don't understand their conversation in the language that they speak. But Hashem gave me a gift. I speak a couple of languages, And it was very hard not to hear the story because it was so close. I was sitting in Rabotai and listening, and the lady was talking to her daughter and showing her ring that her husband bought for $28,000. The flawless princess cut. That's how I know the story exactly, because I heard it. And the mother was putting down her husband that got this ring for her birthday in front of the daughter, saying, but he's stupid. I wanted a round ring. He bought me a princess cut. And called him stupid in front of her daughter. And imagine, I said to myself, this daughter going to grow up, no matter what her husband good going to do for her, she's going to think her husband is stupid because it's not according to what she wanted. You could imagine such an effect. You women, be careful. Never embarrass each other in front of the children, because children will lose respect to both of you. You don't do this. Don't do this. Children, they catch everything fast. Children, they're like a copy machine. Today even better, digital. To details, they will copy you. Never embarrass each other. If your husband brought you a present or back, your wife brought you a present, but you don't like it so much, please like it. Go over your midot. Go over everything. Concentrate not on the present. concentrate on your husband, on your wife. Concentrate on the deed. Don't concentrate on the object. Do you hear what I say? Many people, they concentrate on the object, you know? They concentrate on the object and they say, I didn't want that. But you know, he meant good. He wanted to do good to you. Do you see that? You don't. That's a gava. I wanted a round ring, not princess cut. To'avat Hashem kol go'alev. It's a ta'eva in front of Hashem. It's a disgusting in front of Hashem. Your husband spent his money. He's rich. He spends his money and from his whole heart, he brought you a ring for your birthday. And that's what you answer him back. She accepted it. No, she smiled it. She played it good. Most probably, because she wears it now. But inside of her, the Yetzer Hara says, it's not what you wanted. Shamanta avita kasita. When the people, they have too much luxury. They become crazy. They go with ritzonot. Rabotai, remember, money needed in a pocket, not in your brain. Some people, their brains become a big wallets. Wallet Street. Not Wall Street. The Wallet Street. Wallet brain. Everything in a brain. Money, 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 wealth, kavod, respect, honor. People going to see me. Rabotai, it doesn't worth of anything. Hashem doesn't look for those people. He rejects those people. And sometimes Hashem doesn't listen to the tefillot at all. You want your tefillot to be listened? Come to Hashem like ani. David HaMelech was a king. How he comes to Hashem? Tefillah le'ani ki ya'atov v'lifnei Hashem yishpoch sicho. It's a prayer of ani, of the poor person. Hashem, ki ani ve'evyon anochi. I'm poor. I'm nothing. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Ma nahnu. Ma, not me. Ma, it means what we are, not who we are. What we are. Nothing. What do you think you are here? That's the greatest man of the world who spoke face to face to God. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Ma nahnu. Rabotai, today we learned a lot about Gava. Where it comes from the fire. You want to put down your Gava, there is a way. As you said, lack of knowledge. You have to learn. Continuously learning. Continuously, not stopping till you treat. And he says one thing in this book, Orchot Tzadikim. He said, if you win the war with Gava today, don't think that Yetzer Hara is not going to come to you anymore. He's a new enemy every day. Yetzro shel Adam yitchadesh alav b'chol yom. If he didn't get you this way, he will try to get you a different way. So be alert, be careful. Before you answer back to your husband or to your wife, think to yourself, Hashem, should I answer? I should not. Why I should answer? And you will come to conclusion, you should keep quiet. Both of you. Vice versa. Or husband or a wife. Both of you. Why I should talk? Why I should reply? And like this, Rabotai, Magbiya Shfalim Admarom, person who puts himself down, Hashem brings them up. A little bit down, Rabotai, a little bit. Come down. Put your fire down, put your anger down. Not everything in this world has to run as we want. We're not creators, we're creations. Okay? And another thing, I want to tell you that's very important, and with this we're going to finish. If a person wants to start to work on his gava, he should start to work from simple things. If you're going to start to work from great things, that person will fall. You want a simple thing? That's what I told you. Not to answer back. It's not so simple. But it's the smallest thing that you could start with. You see there's things go towards argument between husband and a wife, brothers and sisters. You see there's an argument coming up. You feel it. Don't heat it up. Don't put more oil into a fire. Just quiet. calm down. You're not the creator, you're creation. That's all. Bezat Hashem, Hashem should help us, Bezat Hashem, overcome all the difficulties in our work. And remember, a person who works with his gava, Hashem right away hears his tefillot. There are certain people, Rabotai, they pray for one thing so long and they don't get it. It might be reason. It might be reason of gava. It might be. I didn't say it is a reason. It might be the reason of gava. And once, because to'avat Hashem kol gvalev, Hashem, it's a to'eva for Hashem. It's a disgusting for Hashem to have such a thing for the person. But once you have no gava, everything's fine. Baruch Adonai L'olam. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Next shiur going to be next Motzei Shabbat. Please come on time. So we start on time and finish on time. Thank you.